Welcome everyone to another Saturday Discord live class. Today we have Ruxandra Popescu in the house, introducing her and mine new community challenge called Santa's Delivery Squad. Do you want to give some insights on that?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Ruxandra, and today we are going to I'm going to work on my submission for Santa's Delivery Squad. So this is the template, exactly as you will get it whenever you download it from the link provided on Discord. And here you have the guidelines on how to submit. And I'm going to turn this off right now so we can focus on the design. But just a little quick preview.
Yeah. So basically the idea that Ruxandra and I had is to create like a racetrack that where we can add our Santa's Delivery Squad race cars, submarines, jets, and any kind, like be creative. And then we do like a mega race where we combine all of the vehicles together. So that's going to be super fun. This is like an endless loop. One side is has trees, you can like maybe fly through the trees or something. On the other side, we have just snow. So there's space for like whatever, snow crawlers, snowmobiles and stuff like that. And in the middle, in the center, we have the ice track. And also, if you want, you could even go under the ice. Right. So be creative. Deadline for the submission is December 20th. And so we're gonna, for more details, you can just join the threads in the community events section, Santa's Delivery Squad. And there you get all the details, including the instructions that Ruxandra has here. And yeah, this set was built by Ruxandra. I contributed as well a little bit, but mostly this is like Ruxandra's beautiful set work. And yeah, let's see what you got, Ruxandra.
Let's start then. So for my submission, believe it or not, I am making yet another slightly evil lady. Well, I'm actually joking. She's not evil. So my character is based on Befana, which is the Italian Christmas witch. And maybe I can tell you a little bit about her while I'm working on this design. So I have here a few references of traditional Italian folk costumes, and also bits and pieces of kind of what I want to include in my character. I'm not going for straight up representation of what she's supposed to be, because I like including a bit more Christmassy elements into it. So this is a little sketch that I'm going to be following for the design. And I actually considered a different approach as well, maybe, a jollier type of look. I think this looks a bit more like old Disney, doesn't it, slightly? Also, perhaps a witch hat as well. But I didn't think it suited it that much, because I want the theme focus to be on Christmas. And maybe stuff like this makes it a bit too witch-like. And technically, yeah, exactly. And technically, she's not supposed to be a witch. So I'm going to get started, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. So Befana is meant to be an old lady. She's an old lady who sweeps all the time. Like with all folk stories, obviously there's different variations of this. So I suppose one of the more common ones is just that she's a mean older lady who does nothing but sweep and lives on the outside of a village. And she doesn't like visitors, she doesn't like kids, she doesn't like anyone interrupting her sweeping. And one day, I think this is a slightly religious story. So one day the three wise men, I think, they stopped by on their way to witness Jesus's birth. I hope I'm remembering correctly. And they tell her that they're going to see the savior or something like that, and they invited her to come along. Initially, she refuses, but then she thinks about it a little bit more and decides that, you know what, maybe I'm going to go and see it. But it's getting late and she can't really find her way because she doesn't really know where she's going. And I forgot to tell you, so she prepares a lot of cakes and sweets to bring with her to the kid. And this is important because she gets lost. And while she's trying to figure her way around, she realizes that she's lost and instead decides to stop by in every house and leave sweets for the kids that live there. And the tradition goes on from there on. So every year she just goes to all the houses that she can get access to and drops treats for the kids and sweeps after herself.
So is that also on the 24th or when does that happen?
Okay, yeah, good point. So she starts her journey before Christmas, but then because she gets lost, obviously it gets delayed, and her day basically is celebrated on the 6th of January.
Oh, okay.
And
then do kids get candy, or what is the custom?
Yeah, so kids kids get candy and cakes and all those little treats that they love. That are made to supposedly made by her.
The kids are cursed to sweep
No,
for
she
1,000 years.
She does the sweeping for them.
I like how we're just one character trait sweeping.
Yeah.
What?
Plus 5 points sweeping, yeah. That's her
It would
D&D.
be a perfect SXVA character as well.
That's actually
Smacking
good.
people with a sweeper.
Personally, I haven't heard the story until recently, but I think it's lovely, and I think it's good to have more variety in our sort of Christmas
Diversity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good point actually, right? Like you don't have to stick to, Santa Claus or anything. Like you can come up with anything you like. Could also be like some Santa's little helpers.
Yeah, exactly. So go as creative as you feel with this challenge. The point is for us to have very unique characters. I mean, I don't have to say this because everyone's designs for the past challenges have been so incredible. I'm sure we're going to have the same again.
So one thing that might be important is understanding speed that you guys are shooting for. Because
so the animation is there, right? Like you see the loop.
Right.
Ruxandra, can you play back?
Yeah, 1 second.
So you have speed reference here, right? So you can see if you animate, if things look right. And I think what we're gonna do down the line is once you guys just animate like 1, 2, or 4 seconds, I believe is the interval.
Yeah.
And then we can do, when we assemble it later, we can then add transform keyframes and then add a little bit of motion in terms of like forward and backwards movement and stuff like
Got
that.
it. So you'll do the translation.
Yeah, I don't think
Got
you
it.
guys should be worrying about that because I think that's very dependent on the assembly. So we can just do that. And then I want to also like see if we can do like a, moving spawn area fly cam for the scene and stuff like that. So it needs to be choreographed. So you guys just worry about that static loop, and then we can add the up and down movement or, like whatever makes it more alive afterwards.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Also, I think the scale of this is a bit too big at the moment. So it does feel faster whenever you scale in. I mean, down.
Yeah.
So that'll be very dependent on me. I'm gonna stop it so I don't get sick.
Do we also kind of keep it laterally, more or less in the same area, like in not move right and left too much?
Oh, you can totally move anywhere you want, right? Like the set is like to be used as you wish. Ruxandra, if you can zoom out a little bit so we can see a bird's eye view of the set, it looks like that, right? So you can also let your character go left and right, but imagine you only have 4 seconds, right? So you can leave it up to us that we can actually fly your character through the way we want. So it's better not to have like a translation baked in the animation. It's probably best to have basically just like in place, like character in place, and then we can move it later with transform keyframes. If that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
But if you want to, like, if you go for a 2-second loop, for example, it's like 1, 2, and you want like a slide up and down movement, that doesn't hurt, I think, because that doesn't hurt any translation, But beyond that, I wouldn't do any like master translation on the whole character because we can do that later. I guess what you could do if you want, like, to move it up and down on sideways in a specific way, you could actually put it in a group and put transform keyframes so we kind of get an idea of what you were planning. If that's important to you in terms of like that it should like slightly go up and down and stuff like that, then in that case, you can just give us upload a version where it's like all baked, but on top of that you have a group that has transform keyframes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. That's so clean, Ruxandra, the stripes. It's awesome.
Let's
Is
hope
it
it
just
compresses.
2 brushes rotated or?
Yeah.
Clean. Delicious.
I actually missed how it was made. Listening to you all of a sudden, it was a really nice.
It looks exactly like those candy canes.
And I put it in the wrong folder. So I'm gonna... Where did I? Just to make sure. Yeah.
Oh, she's riding a candy cane.
Yeah, I thought about adding a broomstick,
Awesome.
but it looks more Christmassy like this, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's nesting inside the curve, that sack. It's like such a fun detail.
Yeah. Candies could be flying out of that bag.
Definitely.
Particle system.
This needs to be a bit longer, I think.
And will this be in the template so we have a scale factor that we can look at? Your character?
Yeah, I'll add it in the submission folder.
Okay, perfect.
I think that looks right. Doesn't it? Something like that.
But I think it would be also cool to have actually like different scales. I mean, like if you do a humanoid character, they should look somewhat similar size, but like vehicle-wise, it would be crazy if you have like a giant crawler or something like that, like that would be awesome to have like tons of different types of vehicles. That's what I'm looking forward to see you guys' submissions. Just go crazy.
Yeah, like the way we did Funi's seedling, all giant and scary.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, Peter, you could reuse your evil Santa. He's
Yeah,
like
he-
rotating his arms and just sliding on the ice.
I know he might make a reappearance. You never know.
Yeah.
He's gonna push all the racers away.
Evil Santa is back.
Maybe something like that. I'm gonna get started on the face right now to make sure that we have time to
So
finish.
isn't it a pretty famous story in Italy? Like, is it like, Thanksgiving for the United States? Kind of like, is it like everybody celebrates that day?
I'm actually
January
not
6th?
quite sure.
Okay. I never heard of this.
So it is quite popular, but I'm not quite sure. I should know. I mean, I have so many Italian friends. I really should know this. I hope they're not watching this, so I don't disappoint them too badly.
Stefano Bagnoli is not here.
Oh yes, we could ask him, or maybe he can give us a comment and tell us off for not knowing.
I think we have a few people from Italy, right, in the community.
Yeah.
Stefano, and I think there was like a few more, I believe, but maybe not in the Discord.
There's some really amazing art schools in Italy, so I'm not surprised.
Do have some artists in their history, don't they?
Yes.
Oh yes, that's for sure.
Just a few.
Yeah, just a few. I wanted her to look really nice and friendly, this design, because I think the story itself is about an old woman. She's not called a witch. I'm not quite sure how the witch thing developed, but I like this idea of having a jolly lady as well, who brings you the gifts.
Yeah.
So she needs to have a huge smile here.
This is the Daniel Page-esque
Yeah,
patch modeling technique.
it works so well.
It really does.
I never thought patch modeling would ever come back, the NURBS. But it did, in a different form.
And it's here to
Much
stay.
faster, too.
It's kind of the way they taught us how to mold as well in the art courses.
In 3D? Or...
In traditional, so you would take like
Oh, okay.
yeah, you would work with strips and stuff like this as well.
Yeah.
You mean with clay?
Yeah, clay strips. Perhaps for forfeit.
Yeah, the older generation here, I think, very well remembers NURBS approach, NURBS modeling, and Maya and 3D Studio Max, where you had to like worry about stitching and rebuilding curves and stuff like that. It's a freaking nightmare.
We were actually shown a bit of that in our in my animation course.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and a little bit to give us the back in mind the approach.
Yeah, it was terrible. It's very difficult.
Yeah, because it's very hard to be to iterate on that, right? It's like when you do the polygons thing, you can make it better and better over time.
Yeah,
It's really hard with that other thing.
yeah, because the resolution had to be equal. The curves need to connect, right, to stitch it properly, and then it's like you have to always rebuild the surfaces and stuff. And I'm like, why do I even have to worry about that, you know? And then polys and softies became much more popular, and then now I think nerves are mostly used for architecture and cars, right? Even cars, I think they might have switched to polys.
Like I think it was like a whole generation that changed. I mean, in the whole approach, right? Because it made the modeling process. It moved it from very, very, very technical to something more artistic.
Only, yeah. And then ZBrush changed the game, right? And then Medium changed the game, and Quill, of course. Like, I don't want to model anywhere else than in VR now, right? Like, but it's just so freaking fast and non-technical. It's funny how, like, the more technology advanced, the less technical it becomes. The approach.
It should be like that, shouldn't it?
Yeah. Because we're using high-tech gear, right? It's like super high-performance computers with a VR headset, and it sounds very technical, but it's very artist-friendly.
It is very demanding. I used to have my setup in a different room in the house, and now I have to work in the common area because it fried some of my electrical network.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I have quite a few things connected to my computer, and they require a lot of power, and yep, that happened.
That's funny.
God. I mean, yeah, I think one of the biggest things that this does require is just space. Like, when me and my girlfriend were apartment hunting, one of the things we were looking at was like, just where can I set up? Because there was never a point where we would go, okay, where is Tyler's room? Where can Tyler do his work? It was always just like, okay, Tyler, where's the biggest living room? Because your setup is going to double over as like the TV stand and as the VR room. Because there wasn't a lot of spaces we could find that, you know, had a spacious environment for that, because she also does design work, and we didn't want to be sitting on top of each other whenever we'd work. But yeah, I just sit in the common area in the living room, do my thing.
You use the Rift S, right? Like, I'm surprised that like there's a lot of conversation going on here in Discord about Airlink, right? Because I never feel comfortable doing Airlink because I need the battery life, and like I don't want to rely on battery. I was wondering like how many people here actually work with Airlink, because I feel like when I work in Quill, I don't move anyway. So I rather have the, you know, peace of mind that I stay connected.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like it's worth being untethered for risking to lose the battery life, right? So.
Well, you don't like
it just didn't way too long to. There's just no way it would last like my daily sessions. No way.
Yeah. How long did you try Airlink? Like, how long did it last for you, Peter?
Oh, I've never tried it. I totally avoid it. Yeah.
Yeah. Same. I never even like, because when I disconnect my Quest, sometimes it runs out of battery, and then I'm like, man, you know. So I just need it tethered.
I did try it, and it was also pretty jittery. For me, at least, anyway, with my setup. So I kind of avoid that on that ground as well. But you're right. I'm also I don't really move that much.
Yeah.
Physically.
Just the one arm.
Yeah. Well, renaming layers is a good workout.
Oh my god.
Renaming layers or moving spans and organizing layers around, you know, that's always like.
Yeah, Beat Saber who? Quill?
Yeah.
sometimes you have to do big arm strokes to get a flow. So, but I just I've got cables and I've got carabiners and stuff where I hang my cable over my head instead of.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So that
So it
works.
comes from the ceiling.
Right. Exactly.
Fancy.
I'd love to get a rig like that sometime. I just don't think it'd fly very well in our current apartment.
Yeah, I've got bolts in my ceiling that I hang things from.
That's really handy.
The millennial dream is to buy a house and then hang your cable from the ceiling.
And then the headset also, and when you sit down, it automatically comes down with a crane.
Oh my god!
Nice.
You have to yell out some anime catchphrase like "Link start."
Yeah, exactly.
Where I find that I tend to sort of bump against the screens and stuff like that because I'm reaching out is when I have the, what do you call it, when the whole layer moves, right? Then I still have to, so I can't really move around freely because it's on. I can't,
Oh, when you have the preview spawn area on?
and then I have to actually reach out to wherever I want to go. Otherwise, I have to turn off the thing, and there's a whole process. So that's where I kind of I bumped into the screen right.
That's why you have to be careful where you put your coffee mug, right?
Exactly.
Like I'm very aware where I put my drinks when I work in VR.
Yeah, me too. I think I've knocked a couple glasses of water off my desk a few times. So it now has a very special place on the other side.
Have you guys figured out drinking in VR? Like, just use a straw?
Wow.
I guess, yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'm not
Never
that
thought about
desperate.
Well, I mean, you know, you can do coffee and stuff too. I always do iced coffee. So.
You could have one of those beer helmets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've got my 64-ounce thing because it's got a lid and a straw. It just always sits next to me. There's been a couple times I've punted it, but it's fine. Only a few dribbles come out.
I'm okay taking the headset off to drink.
The one time
Fair
I
enough.
hurt myself really bad, not really bad, but definitely like to a point where I was bleeding, was when I was playing Robo Recall, and you grab those grenades and you throw them, right? And when you're like so in the element in a game, you throw it hard, right? Like you think, I'm gonna smack that robot, so you're gonna throw it really hard. And then there was like it was in the office, and there was like those sensors attached to like those metal rails, which had like it was those L brackets. So they're not like filed down; they have very sharp edges, and the sensors were attached to that. And I threw the grenade and just hit it full speed on that L bracket, and then I was whimpering on the ground. I took off my headset and I scraped off like a whole patch of skin off my head.
Oh no.
God.
That was the last time where I had like a work-related injury.
Workman's comp. Oh yeah, I just punched a wall bracket.
Yeah.
Paid leave, please.
There's
Man.
there's a game called Racket NX, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that's on the Quest. Actually,
Oh, is that the one where you
just
where you're in
flail
the-
around
the
like
squash, right?
Yeah, it's 360 and you just
I love that
flail
one.
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Make sure
it
you-
was actually made by a friend of mine. Anyway,
Oh,
that
wow.
one was the one I remember being the most afraid of breaking my TV or something like that.
Oh yeah, you have to be
So into
super careful. Yeah.
And it's so fast, and you can't get into it. And like I was like, okay, if I play this, breaking the TV is just a matter of time. It's not even.
Yeah, or breaking your bones, right?
Well,
But yeah, I love that racket game. That one is really cool.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites to work up a sweat.
Yeah. And I could definitely imagine, like, I was also super paranoid. I always look through the little gap under the headset because I don't trust the Guardian because I wouldn't notice it fast enough, right? So I'm always like make sure that I'm in a specific spot, but it's kind of like annoying because it takes you out of the game. So I often like wanting to have like a really big space just dedicated for VR. You know, that would be nice.
Hmm.
Our living room space is not big enough to do like those hardcore fitness games. Right? There's like something always in your way.
Yeah. I think my biggest quote unquote like VR related injury wasn't even to me. It was to my late dog. No, she didn't die. She didn't die during the incident.
Oh my.
I was playing Gorn and they had those like iron fists and I was like, oh sick, I'm gonna uppercut this guy. So I leaned down for an uppercut and my dog was like, oh, pets, and I just uppercutted my dog so hard.
That's so
The
sad.
worst feeling, like the worst feeling. You don't know what to do with yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was fine. She just I think 'cause she's a big floofy dog, so I think I just hit padding, but I felt so bad.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, there's videos out there where they smack a kid accidentally and stuff, right? Because the kid runs towards the parent.
Yeah. Oh man.
Or the famous meme of that girl that runs away from the zombies and then runs straight into a wall. Oh, that one looks so painful.
That one would be painful.
There was another one where a guy was playing the climb, right? And then he fell, and then in real life he just freezes and falls flat on his face.
Oh no.
Just timber right down.
Yeah.
Just accept your fate.
But you know, I can see that. Like, I had my friend over once, and she is super scared of heights. And I put her in the climb, and she climbed up a few, you know, she did a few pulls, and then she looked down, and all of a sudden she started freezing, and she couldn't move anymore. You know, and she said, like, "This is not real. This is not real. I know this is not real, but I can't move." And literally, I had to slowly take the headset off her face, and then her heart rate was like crazy high. You know, like it's crazy how immersive these experiences can be, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing how it actually really fools your senses. Like I did a VR jam where we had a ship that flies through the air like 20 meters up, something like that. And so when you walk, you know, when you're on the ship, you can just walk off. You would be walking up into the air. And I have fear of heights, and I couldn't even get near to the edge. And nobody, and there were many people who tried, nobody was able to really take a step off, like into the air, even though they know there's just floor there. Just couldn't do it.
Have you guys tried Brink Traveler?
I haven't even heard of that.
Okay, Brink Traveler is for Quest. They also have it for Rift. They even have it for iPhone and iPad, where it's more like a 6-star portal where you look through. So it's an application that my friend and his partner, they built it. It's basically natural locations, you know, like the Horseshoe and Utah and stuff like that, right? So they photogrammetry everything, like in the highest quality, and you can walk around those areas in 6-star. And you can also physically walk off the cliff at the Horseshoe. that requires a little bit of courage for sure, you know, especially if you have fear of heights. But I highly recommend it. I think it has in-app purchases, but other than that, I think it's free if I'm not mistaken. But it's called Brink Traveler. It's really good.
I saw that. Now that you described it, I saw it on a YouTube channel, and the guy was all over. He was like, "Wow, amazing!" And I do have it on my list.
Yeah. Try to walk off if you have fear of heights.
Have you guys seen
crazy?
My most intense fear of height in VR so far, Goro,
Yeah.
was your
The skyscraper?
The one that rattles.
Yeah, in the Dubai. the Dubai skyscraper.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
kind of rattles. It's really windy.
Yeah.
Just the effect of the wind and the rattling makes you feel so out of like
Insecure.
so out of control of the situation. It's just really scary.
Yeah, I mean that specific one made me scared too. Like when I was building, like I was like, holy crap, this is like kind of intense, And then once I added the sound and stuff like that, especially because sometimes I had to work on the outside of the building, so I'm floating in the air, and definitely it got me, and I was creating it, So
It's like being one of the Empire State Building builders, right?
totally. Yeah. For some reason, that one is fairly old, but I'm still like really, impressed how it holds up, even today. And that one is actually my most viewed quill piece ever.
That's cool.
It's like, I think by far, actually, I think it has 600,000 views or something, which is kind of crazy. It's like, it's a lot if you consider like VR being like niche industry still, but I could see why it's attractive because, if you want to scare your friends, right, then you can push them off the building.
I've been going into it like every once and again. You just still, just because it's fun to be scared when you know that nothing's gonna happen, right?
Hey, can you do were you able to use the animated spawn area that is like in the air?
What's that?
There's like I think 2 or 3 spawn areas on the building, right? And there's one where you fly in the air. That it rotates around the building. Can you do that one, or does it make you super scared?
No, I usually don't. It's like even without it, I can only do in this one. I can only do a few seconds before I get like, okay, it's unpleasant now.
That's funny. I love that you could go in still.
God.
Facing your fears.
Have any of you guys seen Shang-Chi yet?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I have. That was very beautiful.
Yeah, so there's a thing in that movie where they've got like the 10 rings, which are like these magical bracelets that give you like crazy superpowers and stuff like that. There's a move they do where they basically throw their arms down at the ground and both kind of like do a punch, and the rings propel them really high up in the air for like this super jump, and then they can kind of catch themselves with it by doing the same thing. There's a mod for Blade and Sorcery, which is like a VR like sword fighting kind of fantasy game at the there's a mod for that game that puts in the 10 rings, and oh my god, they have that jump ability. And I was looking through like the readme on like how to use it, and it's like, yeah, to use this ability, just throw your fist kind of at the ground. So I did it, and there is no like build up or warning. You just go so high. And I'm pretty good at like stomaching that, but like I just wasn't expecting to be suddenly like 50 stories in the air.
So that being pretty freaky.
Did you
It's one
get
of
the cold sweats or?
I mean, yeah, it's like I get a little weird feeling in my stomach, but I'm pretty good at handling that. But like that, it caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting that to happen so quick.
Doesn't it give you motion sickness?
Not really, no.
Interesting.
It's like going into Peter's illustrations. Peter, you used to do some of them with like pretty quick spawn area moves.
Yeah, actually, I think the rocket launch that I did, I was
long time
surprised how
ago.
easy. Yeah, I was surprised how easy that was to do. I mean, because it goes so fast. You're basically 800 feet in the air, and in like 2 or 3 seconds. So in my mind, that was an easy one to stomach. It didn't affect me at all.
Yeah.
It's interesting because my understanding of why we get the motion sickness is that you move in a way that would normally move the liquid inside your ear, but then it doesn't, and that sort of that gap of reality causes the nausea. That's how I sort of understood it. But
Yeah, I think that's probably scientifically correct. But what I noticed also is that different people react differently to certain, like my friend, for example, he didn't get sick from Quantum Race, Soda Island, I totally got sick from it. But then he got sick from Hello, and I'm totally fine watching Hello. So it's very interesting how like people react to motion differently, right? So and some people like they stay like completely cold. Like
Yeah, and I think
nothing.
it's the distance away too, because with the rocket launch, you had a very wide, landscape to look at, so it was pretty far away, and things weren't moving close to you. But if things move close to you and you're turning, if there's circular motion,
turning is horrible. Yeah, the y-axis, right? Like the y-axis turn is brutal, especially if you have too many reference points. Like, of course, when you have just like a quill, one colored plane, I think you're fine. But if you have like a lot of reference points and then you rotate the audience, that's no. Like one motion that always gets me as a barrel roll. Like I just can't stomach that.
Oh, a barrel roll. No, yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
I did that
those are
in Eve Valkyrie, and I had to rip off my headset because I thought like I'm gonna instantly throw up.
I find that like the what I do is just close my eyes. As soon as I close my eyes, it's fine, and it's faster than ripping off the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like that's all you need to do. But like sometimes you just don't think that way. Like especially if something catches you by surprise. Like when I played that horror game Affected, and then there's this little girl that attaches to your HND without eyes, and I had to like simply just close your eyes, but I don't think that way, right? Like because I panic and then I just rip off.
I'm so used to Pavlov and Blade and Sorcery that I just like I want a gun in my hands in VR at all times. Like I don't care if it does anything. I just want one. like I'll play Phasmophobia with my friends and like we'll be going in. I'm like, I just wish there was a gun model I could carry around. So I wind up with like the thermometer, which looks like the gun thermometers, and I've got a flashlight underneath it like it's a knife, and it's like I don't know, it just makes me feel more comfortable of having that ability to like
always defend yourself.
Yeah, always be ready.
Ghost?
Yeah. Like I don't care if it doesn't actually hurt the ghost. I just want to feel like I can shoot the ghost.
That's funny.
Horror, by the way, is another thing that's super effective in VR.
It's the worst. It's the worst.
That I could not actually complete because I was too scared.
Yeah, you should get into Gilgamesh's what is it, Gilgamesh? Okiku, right? That
it's
the ring piece.
That one's so good.
Like I went in there for the first time, and then you'll see when you go in there. But yeah, that one is pretty scary.
Okay, I'll try.
Have you guys? Good.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Of course.
No, I was going to say have you guys practiced the Dan Frank flying technique?
Yep. Nope, that didn't work.
That one took me a while. I mean, I got definitely some motion sickness just trying to control it up front.
That's super sickening for sure. Like I can only do it. Yeah, I can only do it when I lock the rotation, and then I grab the square to move in one plane, right?
Oh, okay.
Then I can stomach that. But the moment I put on rotation, it's so sensitive too, right? I can't believe how Dan can fly like that.
I keep everything pinned to my table, my desk. So, it's really slight motions, but you always have everything like anchored so that you can turn and go forward and backwards. So I think that was pretty much the trick that I needed to control it. Otherwise, I get in these crazy spins, and you can't get out of it. You're just done.
Yeah, I tried doing that for the bird in my one Inktober piece for Raven, and I couldn't. Like, it was really funny playing it back because like I'd get like kind of a decent flight going over the airship you were on, but then it would just start spiraling out of control, and it was just I don't know. I feel like I need to go back and do it just to upload it because it's so bizarre looking.
Mm-hmm. And I used that. I think I did what Dan Frank did, was where he made the path first and then built the scene around the path. So once you had a good, clean, kind of smooth path, that's how I
Yeah.
did that. The two kids flying around that city that one time.
Yeah, I even went and established the path like beforehand and tried it. It did not play nice. I was just not good at it.
I wonder if there's a way to build tolerance.
I think so. I mean, I think I'm way more tolerant than I used to be. Like, yeah, I used to be much more motion sick, sensitive before when I first started in VR. Like, even I think when I first painted in Quill, like just the grid moving and stuff, I got a little bit sick, and now it leaves me unfazed, right? Like, I still get a bit motion sick when I have like a very detailed set and I rotate around, fly around it, and stuff like that. But definitely not as bad anymore, because I remember when I was creating like one of the early pieces, the mechanic, for example, in his garage, I would like have to take breaks because my stomach started turning, you know, like but usually it only happened when I build like smaller environments that I can go inside, like for example indoor environments and stuff like that. I remember in a moment in time in that piece I got motion sick a few times because, you know, the more reference points you have, the more you feel the motion sickness, right? Like, because your brain thinks you're moving but you're physically not moving and stuff like that. So I think I definitely built a tolerance, but I'm definitely not immune.
I remember the first time I did Quill. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the first time I did Quill, that when you accidentally grab the ground and rotate the ground, I almost fell over. First time, I was like, "Whoa, what did I
Yeah.
do?"
I had a problem where I could never make a piece right side up. Like, it doesn't matter because you could just flip it upside down, but like, you know, when the default spawn area, I'd always make it upside down. Like, I would just spin the world because I was just thinking, and then I would started having a habit of I'd go into a new scene and draw an up arrow so I knew which way was like considered up.
Really?
And
That's funny.
yeah,
That's cool.
never thought, why don't we just flip the spawn area?
What really gets me is when I restart my Rift and the screen freezes, but I move my head and the screen doesn't react. That really
Oh
annoys me.
yeah, the headlocks. Yeah, I hate headlocks. Also, like trying to walk in a 360 video, that's also pretty jarring because the 360 video follows you. It's like,
Yep.
yeah, that doesn't
Man,
feel
I
good
tried a
because
few-
it's
tried a
like the
few
reverse, right? Like, because you are moving, but the world is not. So it's like the reverse of what you experience in Quill, and it's like super disorienting. You were saying, Doran?
So I wanted to say you said the thing about the point of reference and the nausea thing. So I'm working on the project I'm working on right now is something where you move in a constant speed forward. And initially my assumption was that as long as the speed is constant and you move in a straight line, it would take anything because there's no acceleration. And that turns out to be true, at least for me, up to a point. And for everybody else, like nobody complained, and I showed it to many, many people by now. But there is a certain speed where just the amount of information does, if it's too fast and there's a lot of information, it does get really difficult. Like you get nauseous.
Yeah.
It has to do with the number of objects that are there.
And also acceleration, right?
I'm saying like if it accelerates, then that's a difficult thing. But even in constant speed, like if there's just enough stuff in there for the brain to process somehow, just you get overwhelmed, and that can do some of the nausea. So it's like a combination of factors.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's never bulletproof. right? Because people react differently to different things. So.
Yeah, the only
By the
thing
way,
that
I posted Gilgamesh's horror piece in the text channel if you want to check it out later.
It's really cool.
I kind of want to do the Evil Dead with the scary girl locked in the cellar piece. That one would be
Ooh,
scary
that,
too.
that would be good. At first, I thought you meant for this winter scene. I was like, I don't know if that'll
Oh
fit.
no.
I mean, I guess, bro.
For the winter
that
scene,
that
I'm like split between Krampus and Nightmare Before Christmas.
Ooh.
oh
Jack.
nice.
So
You posted Jack
meanwhile,
up there too.
meanwhile, I checked the text channel, and I did see it, and I can confirm that it scared the hell out of me.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
You watched it, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
watched it. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if she appears behind you. Because she comes
Oh,
closer and
yeah.
closer, right? And then she's behind you. And the first time I watched it, I turned around and she's way too close. I was like, oh my god! I mean, that was probably your intention. It was
Did you
very
guys,
effective.
speaking of like horror stuff, did you guys ever play PT back in the
Yes.
Yes.
day? That's so scary.
I know we've talked about it. They made somebody made like a fan version in VR.
Yeah,
Oh my
that's not.
god, no,
Yeah,
please, no.
no, thank you.
It's a hard pass.
I mean,
One
that
thing I-
one was so scary in 2D, you know? Like,
Yeah, no, my friend, I played it on my friend's PlayStation, and I legit threw his controller at one point. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
yeah,
Yeah, well,
that was
not-
like very, very well done. Holy crap.
Mhm.
thing that I could not stomach in VR. Speaking of things appearing behind you, I don't remember what it was, but there was. So you're sitting on a couch in front of a TV, and you look back behind your back. It's just a room. There's TV. You're on the sofa. You look back. There's something covered with some sort of sheet or something like that. It's just there, like white sheet behind you. You're sitting there watching the TV, and you keep throwing you keep looking back because obviously something's gonna jump at you. It doesn't. You know that at one point you're going to look back and there's going to be a face of something super scary right in your face. They just played on, and I could not. I couldn't do it. I had to kind of rip the headset out of my face because I just could not handle the knowledge that it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I could see that. It's so like for example, I could not really finish the Resident Evil VR demo, right? Like I played it
7?
without. Yeah, I think there was a PSVR demo. I don't know
think
if
it was
7.
7.
Okay, the
Was
one
it?
where you go into the basement and stuff.
It like 7 was with like the hobos, right? Like or not the hobos, but like it was like almost like backwoods, like country, like hillbilly type.
Yes, I think
line.
so. And you find like a video, VHS video, and you look at it, and then you see like black and white footage of what happened in the
that's 7.
past. Yeah.
I didn't get very far in the demo.
Well, so yeah, I had to play it without headphones first in a bright office
Oh, okay.
because the sound was just like making it way too immersive.
I believe it.
Yeah, it's yeah, the fear you feel in VR is real, right? That's why it's so crazy, and that's why
Oh,
I
yeah.
think you can't handle it after a while because it affects you like full on as if it would in real life. So
Yeah. Recently, I got to try Resident Evil 4 VR, and I've had a lot of fun with that, but it's only because I've beaten that so many times on GameCube that I can play it in VR.
yeah.
But it does wear off, though, in my experience at least. So I tried Phasmophobia that somebody I mentioned earlier.
Mhm.
And the first time I did it, I couldn't really go through with it. It was too scary. And then I played it a couple of times on the computer first. Like got back to VR. And then the first time I died in there was terrible, super scary. After a while, it was like, okay, so now I died a couple of times. And I like kind of like, okay, now I can handle it. So it kind of wears off after a while.
I could see that. Yeah, the first time I played Phasmophobia in VR was the first time I ever played it. And I think me and my friend, we were like going through the house, and like there was a point where like I think we needed to split up to attract the ghost, and so my friend like broke off and like started searching the entire house. I literally just like stayed in the kitchen and like threw salt all around me and just like fucking just stayed there.
Yeah.
Like in a little corner, and I was like, oh god, I don't want to move.
Yeah, Faz, you also at least have the benefit of like, it's not the scariest game. It's pretty goofy.
Yeah.
So, you know, there
I just
are
didn't
some
know what
scary
to
parts,
expect.
but no, same. I remember the tutorial mission. It was like, now go into the house. I'm like, no, I don't want to. You do it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Ruxandra is at Baymax. It looks like Disney's Baymax from Big Hero 6.
Oh yeah, that's true. I
Is that
see.
what that is?
That's funny.
This
Make it
is
wider.
exactly what I was going for.
I love the way you did the heel of the shoe earlier.
This one here.
Yeah, the shoes.
Going there.
Yeah, we were discussing meanwhile, like she's almost done with her piece.
Yeah, I like actually the discussion that you've been having, and I remember reading at some point about how the brain perceives the experiences that you have in VR, and the point that this article was making was that your brain sort of doesn't make the difference between it being a fake experience and a real experience. So it kind of so it kind of remembers it. Yeah, exactly.
You're nodding your head.
Yeah, I love that.
I need to avoid that.
Nah, just do it. I do it. Who cares?
Have you guys all been in my office?
Yeah.
VR?
Yes.
Oh, in VR, no.
That would be crazy too, because if you were here, you would totally feel like it's familiar, you know, because you've been there in an illustration of my office. But yeah,
When I used to, I mean, when I used to travel a lot, so I used to travel all over the world, and I would Google Maps the roads, so I knew what exit to take when I was driving in like Cape Town and places like that. So I was like, okay, I know this exit. I recognize the building. So I actually do a trial run before I have to drive like
with Street View,
foreign
right?
city. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not directly related, but my first ever experience with VR, like on my own sort of device, I bought the Gear VR way back then, and I used it for like 2 hours straight. And then I went out into the street, and I had the strangest feeling. I can really remember it still. That nothing is real. I was walking down the street, and like, you're not going around usually touching things, trees or people, right? You're just kind of walking. And it was similar enough in my brain that I was like, I'm not really believing. I still feel like I'm in VR. It was the strangest feeling.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I definitely had some of that kind of like vertigo when you first started using VR, where like your depth feels weird, like your field of view feels weird. Everything just kind of feels funky for the first like day or two, and then it wore off. I never had it again.
Yeah, I kind of remember. Yeah, I kind of remember experiencing something kind of like that. Like it would be like really, really noticeable whenever you transitioned in and out of VR, or it would just be like a very different. I don't know. It was a weird experience.
I'm in sea legs where like you still feel the boat rocking even though you've been off the boat for 2 hours.
Oh yeah, I hate
Yeah.
that.
That's a little like doing the what do you call it? Thing you walk on in the gym.
Treadmill.
The treadmill, yeah.
For long enough, and you get out without the cool down. You get off of it. You kind of feel like everything is still moving. You know that feeling?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But this real surreal thing that the wall is not actually real. I only had that one time.
Remember somebody when we first kicked off the Discord, I think they came in like it was like really late at night and they were just like, I think I'm like dying, and I'm like, what? And they had like a really bad reaction to just being in VR or something.
I remember that, and we never heard from them again.
Yeah, he just poofed.
Oh my.
Well, maybe it's like VR is not for me.
Oh, that's what those yellow balls were. Nice. I love the bells.
Oh, thank you. Feels appropriate.
Really good.
And she doesn't look so evil after all.
The one time I allow my character not to be evil.
And Ruxandra's like, don't make a habit.
I don't know. She might be still evil inside.
She has to have a Grinch moment where her heart grows.
Nice gradient on the teeth.
There's going to be an army of frogs behind her.
Just make her eyes pitch black. That'll fix it.
Oh my god. Don't do it.
I don't know if you saw it earlier, but I tried something and it didn't work so well.
I saw that. Was that the reflection of the acid?
I thought this might look
Scary.
interesting, but I don't think so.
Looks like she's high on something.
High on life.
Mushroom candy bars, they're back.
Yeah.
Peppermint, all
She's
the
whacked
peppermint.
out of her mind and delivers presents.
Just time check, Ruxandra, you're at 1 hour 5 minutes.
Oh no. Okay, we'll speed up a little bit. It's not that bad. I just need to duplicate and finish the gradients.
Yeah, you're fine.
Hey, Goro, you go into Maya a lot and Redshift and all that stuff. Do you have to deal with like flipping strokes for like ribbon strokes? Do you run into that a lot, or you don't use ribbon strokes that much in your?
I totally use
Jesus.
ribbon strokes, but Redshift handles them really well. So,
Is it just
Redshift-
double-sided shaders, or because I like some of the programs I'm working in now, I've got to like split the geometry, so I have to flip it.
yeah, I mean, definitely when you render in Maya, you have to do that. But Redshift just ignores normal direction, it seems like. So even Octane, if you just put on a material, and even if the normals are flipped, they don't seem to care. So, but if I render with the Maya renderer, and definitely you would have to flip normals. And the problem with the ribbon brush, I think what you're talking about is some of them are flipped and some of them are not, right? So you have to then split and then adjust it.
Yeah,
Or-
and sometimes when you do this, like where you do half the geometry and then you mirror copy it, half of it's flipped the wrong way, right?
Yeah, I see a lot, like even if it's not just ribbon brush, I think also with other strokes that depends, like if you mirrored something, it just flips it all, and then you have like black geometry and correctly rendered geometry. And I definitely struggled with that in the viewport, but I realized that Octane or Redshift, they don't really give a damn about normals. So it just works. But I know what you're talking about, for sure.
Yeah, I just started messing around with Redshift, and but yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
I think especially when you work with Unity, right? Then the normals totally matter. So I think
Yeah, normally in Unity, at least I can use like the standard
Double-sided.
double-sided shaders that just clears it up, so that's not an issue.
Okay.
But in Houdini, I've been like just trying to figure out the best way to approach it.
Yeah. When you're practicing with Redshift, you shouldn't worry about it. It should just render fine.
Got it.
I love the proportions of just the length of the hair and the thickness. Like something in the proportion is really appealing to me. Like really.
Thank you.
Face is also so clean.
Mhm.
Pasha clean.
Yeah, now that we've got the Christmas witch, like, what do you do? Like the Christmas mummy,
Oh, no.
also, or
Christmas
the Christmas were sloth?
Is it? Oops. This
I'm
one.
trying to think because I ran a Christmas one shot for my D&D folks one time.
Mhm.
They took down an archfey, and basically by doing that, they restored Christmas spirit to it, and then it went to the material plane to give Christmas to people. So they invented Christmas, and the big fight was this giant like cookie cake golem full of icing and snow, and it was basically just a fight with Elsa.
Did you say a cookie dough?
Yeah, it was
Golem?
like a giant cookie dough, like giant colossus, and they had to beat it up.
That sounds
That's
delicious.
funny. Yeah, that's one monster you can definitely eat. That face flipped really well.
Yeah.
Apart from these bits that need readjusted.
And I was glad to see I'm not the only one who flips on all the axes. So,
Yeah, you hit every one. Like, which one's the right one?
I don't even know why
It's always a
flipped the
gamble.
Y. I mean, the Y, you never flip it.
That's true.
What I usually do with hands, I just change the position of the thumb. Instead of I just duplicate and don't worry about flipping. I just move the thumb to the other side.
That's a neat trick.
For my speed paintings, at least, right? Like they don't have to be too perfect.
Mm-mm.
the razor used to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think you were talking.
I think you're good this time.
You were saying go ahead to yourself.
That happens sometimes in real life. So, there used to be a bug in the undo when you flip. So you flip and then it kind of doesn't. Do you know that? If you
I don't
flip
know.
and then you undo, it doesn't do it that well, or at least in one of the versions that was the case. And anyway, it took me way too long to figure out that I never need to undo it. I just do it again, and that's an undo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I just love the idea of Doran sitting in his room. Go for Doran, over. All right, thanks, Doran. Anyway.
Did you save, Ruxandra? I never saw you save.
I saved twice, but not recently, so yeah, good point.
Okay. It's pretty impressive how quickly you put like a detailed face like this together.
I suppose she needs some nostrils at some point as well, maybe?
Maybe just a shadow, and then
Or yeah.
might be just duplicate the nose and move it down.
Oh, we get 40K triangles
There we go.
this time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that looks really good.
Big budget.
Nice.
I find that nostrils, like having nostrils or really prominent nostrils, like that's a really important design decision, right? Because it really changes the sort of how the character feels if their nostrils are really kind of prominent.
Totally.
Looks like you're still missing a second foot.
Yeah,
Ah,
and
that's
and
part of the
hand.
legend.
Prosthetic.
Another hand too. Yeah.
She lost her foot in a tragic foot losing accident.
Give her a
Can't
good
ignore-
stump.
Peg leg.
County
hook.
King peg leg.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Okay, somebody had. It can't be me. Okay, it might be me. Somebody has to totally make a pirate with a hook candy cane for a hand.
Oh yeah.
Under here.
Dude, submarine pirate, sure.
Has to be.
Oh, nice ribbon technique there. I was wondering what that is.
Quick improvisation.
With the ribbon brush.
Yeah. So metal, isn't it?
But
Ho ho ho.
And
the first time I had one of those candies, and they come in different flavors, right? Sometimes it's just mint, but sometimes it's like hardcore cinnamon, right?
yeah.
And
Oh, cinnamon.
I did not know the flavor. So like when I looked at the candy, the round ones that you have in the snow, and I just expected like a very like sweet minty flavor, and then I tasted cinnamon. I was like, what is this? Because it does not look like it should taste like cinnamon at all, right?
Yeah, no, if it was red and white, then I wouldn't be expecting cinnamon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
help
was my
either, though.
first experience with that type of candy. I was like, what the hell? Is it like rancid? Is it old?
Because the mint ones are also red and white.
They
And
look
cinnamon
exactly
are-
the same.
Yeah. I mean, I love spice, so I don't think I'd be that upset. I'd be very happy.
Well, it was more like, I think I can eat it now with that, with that expectation, but
Yeah, I would. If you're not, then it's like, ugh. Like, I think that's just a thing that I think my friends told me about, that if you eat something but you're not expecting it and the flavor, like no matter what it is, even if it's something you'll like, you'll still eventually have like a grossed out reaction. Like if you fill a Mountain Dew can with milk, and you
Exactly.
drink it,
Oh my
you're gonna react
Vomit.
horribly. Yeah.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like I think I had that. It's not quite the same, but I remember I was eating tapioca pudding for the first time ever, and I didn't know the tapioca balls were not like mold. Like I thought it was just like
oh,
I thought it was just mold or like curdling
Oh,
cheese or
no.
something. So I was eating it and like oversharing. I get bit here, but like where I came from growing up, like we always just had expired food all the time. So I just was used to it. So I just ate it, and I was like, "Hey, Ma, is that pudding supposed to have chunks?" She's like, "Yeah, it's fine. It's literally just like little rice balls." And it completely like I went from stomach ache to okay, and just fine in 2 seconds.
yeah. I mean, a lot of things are based on psychology, right? Like if we think something's bad for us, there's a good chance that we actually get a physical reaction to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. But yeah, it's crazy how much the brain anticipates certain things and then how much you buffer in advance, right? And
Mhm.
if it doesn't match with what you expected, then you have like a pretty visceral reaction.
Mhm.
Yeah, our brain's like efficiency, likes to guess ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, just like I think I saw a documentary about baseball pitchers, the way, or batters basically, they physically you won't be able to react to the ball you see. So it's the brain that can buffer the movement of the pitcher and then where the ball is going to be in the next millisecond. Like it's basically just calculates the trajectory, but physically you won't be able to, like without that buffer, you won't be able to ever react fast enough, which is kind of crazy.
That makes sense. You just watch the pitcher, not the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's why those off-speed pitches are so successful.
Yeah.
The ones disguised as fastballs.
Yeah.
So who's gonna go for the water submissions? We're gonna have a bunch of like gift-giving otters.
Oh, that would be cool. Or swimming sloth. Crit sloth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the sloth comes to take your presents, not to deliver your presents.
Oh no.
We'll have to
So we don't have
continually
anything
run.
lined up for next week, actually. So I was telling Ruxandra that I might take over to do my freestyle
Oh,
Christmas
nice.
racer. So that might be next
That'd be
week.
good. That would be very good.
What was the thing about the storytelling in VR? I thought it was I saw something about that. I missed that.
Oh yeah, that's super old. Like I don't know why somebody brought it. I think it's from last year or this year.
Yeah, that's quite a while ago.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean we could do a session like that probably like around Christmas maybe, during the holidays, maybe like a recap of all the cool stuff we've seen this year. I think that would be a good Christmas special topic, for sure.
Another year in review.
Yeah, that would be nice. And then let me look at the calendar here. We do have Stefano Bagnoli lined up
Oh,
as
nice.
first-time teacher.
Hey.
Then we have Celso Teixeira coming back for also some storytelling stuff, I believe. And
Who is she?
Celso is the guy who did the Blender rendering tutorial a while back.
Oh.
Did like the shading in Blender to get rid of the spaghetti look type of class.
Yeah.
That was really good.
I still
So one
haven't used
thing-
Blender.
Yeah, one thing that the gap is the Unreal, because that one never got published, right?
Yeah,
So
I've
maybe
been
we need to
talking
get
to
another
Federico.
person.
Yeah, maybe I invite Federico again to redo it.
Just hey man, why don't we just do it again?
Yeah, there's yeah, we can totally do that. I think Federico will probably be up for it. Rather than re-recording the section that was missing. That was like the most challenging part to get the people. Like I can't really, request people, hey, do it now, because it's all like voluntary. So, we're missing actually 2 streams. It's Federico's and David Hernandez's lip sync with Stream Deck, which was also a really cool tutorial class.
Yeah, I
And-
remember the lip sync one.
Yeah. So people are busy, and then it gets really hard to re-record stuff, So
Mm-hmm.
it's probably easier to set up another class. And I'll check with him if he's willing to do another Unreal class.
I was wondering, because the Quest, I guess the Quest 2, now that it has that application space warp thing, does that, or asynchronous space warp, does that give like quill scenes more to play with?
I have
Or
actually
would
no
that have-
idea what you're talking about. Asynchronous space warp?
Yeah, I think it was
Sounds-
it was like an update that the Quest 2 I think got like 2 weeks ago or something, and it like gives it like 70% like more performance power.
Oh,
Like,
okay. Well,
so-
look at it from an app point of view, right? Like the thing has to also run on Quest, not just Quest 2. So
Yeah,
there's nothing specifically changing for a performance
Quest.
upgrade, right? Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, that's the way to look at it. That like it's probably more like if a new device comes out that has like way more specs than, and then the other is discontinued or something like that. That's when I think you will see apps actually making it not backwards compatible anymore. But I think any company will try to make sure that for all the headsets that are out there, that there's like a somewhat version that runs fine, right? And since Quest 2 is still fairly new and people have the Quest, I doubt that, like, not just Co Theater, but I doubt that any company would risk that it doesn't run on Quest anymore. That makes sense.
That's true. Yeah, you
Yeah.
still want to target the original quest.
Yeah.
Well, this is. I'm just reading it now. It looks like it actually downgrades. It allows you to downgrade the performance the way this operates. So it might be something to help, like slower hardware. If I'm reading this right,
Oh,
because
so
it's basically.
Quest might benefit from it. You mean
Yeah, exactly.
the original Quest?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's, at least that's the way I'm reading this first take on it.
I was kind of impressed with the quest too. I tried it out recently. I still have my CV1. I think I'm gonna keep that until Oculus comes out with that new headset that they announced, and then I might switch over.
Yeah.
Still.
No reason to switch, man. I'm also CV1.
Yeah, exactly.
So comfortable.
It's like the best.
I don't want to. I don't want to switch.
Also,
But I want new stuff.
I don't know. Yeah. I wonder if, I doubt that the tracking will ever be better than the CV1, right? Because that one was like outside in tracking. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just the refresh rate is insane, right? So when you draw like quick circles, that's when you see the big difference. Right?
I can see that.
Like even on the Rift S, when you draw a quick circle, you get the polygons. Right, Ruxandra can demonstrate it. Do a super fast circle.
Super fast circle.
Bigger one. Yeah, but you can see it. Yeah, you can see the edges. Yeah, they're the polygons. And on the Rift, it's smooth. It will look like this on the CV1, right? Because the refresh rate is much better. And then when you do the same thing on the Quest 2, you see it even more, like the polygons. But yeah, you don't, as long as you paint normally, you're fine. It's more like on super
Speed
quick
painting.
strokes. Yeah. A lot of times I do that anyway, what Ruxandra is doing right now with the line tool and bend. That's very nice.
Oh yeah, I love the bend.
So smooth.
Yeah.
And
I have the original Rift closet here, and I can't use it. It's really annoying because my the glasses thing, it doesn't have enough room, and it actually hurt me. And I'm not selling it because I keep thinking maybe I'll get something to fix it, but I don't know if they even sell it anymore.
I don't think. Well, you can probably find stuff on eBay, But,
Yeah, eBay has a junkyard of parts that you can try to.
I even have the DK2 still in the box.
Oh, nice.
Old school.
Man, if you mess up your CV1 cord though, like those cords are expensive.
Oh.
That's why I've got like one of those like tangle-free like big like plastic things that you can put around cords. Yeah. Just to keep mine safe, because I like looked it up and it was like $100 or like $200 to like replace that cord, I think. Yeah, because they just don't make them anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, at that point, might as well buy a Quest too, right?
Exactly.
Wow, look at that precision.
It looks really good, Ruxandra. Holy crap.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think we can leave it here for now, because the characters here, I'm obviously going to do some tweaks to it, refine it a bit better, but yeah.
It's great.
I think
And
this
then
works.
you will animate the wind and
Yeah.
the hair and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to
That'd be
animate
awesome.
the hair and the wind, and she'll probably be going like this a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, yeah. But
Don't forget the audio for the jingle bells.
of course.
Oh.
Let's get rid of this and maybe just quickly play it.
Yeah, with sound.
And of course get rid of my palette here.
Yeah, it's already really cool. Without animation, it's already working.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be so cool.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I hope everyone will jump into the madness. It's gonna be an awesome challenge.
You have
Thanks
to
for
race
always-
against Grandma.
Yep.
She looks pretty fast.
She is.
Go,
Super,
Granny,
super
go,
cool.
Granny, go.
Yeah.
Awesome, Ruxandra. Thanks so much for the stream. This was great. I liked that it was more like a discussion / demo. It was really chill.
Well, thank you so much for coming, everyone, and for watching this. And I really hope you will participate because I think this is going to be a really fun experience.
For sure. Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Looking forward
Yeah.
to your submissions as well.
Mhm.
It's gonna be mad awesome.
Yeah, so
Cool.
see you on the racetrack then.
See you on the racetrack. Bye, Ruxandra.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
super
you.
Thank
cool.
you.
Hi. Talking to y'all.
Yeah,
Mhm.
super nice.
Now I can
So yeah,
see
next
this.
week, it's probably gonna be my freestyle. Yeah, most likely, and then we'll see, how it goes.
Ooh,
Yeah.
do you know
Sounds
what you're
good.
going to go
Maybe-
for?
Hmm?
Do you know what you're going to go for? Is it like,
Hmm?
or
Not yet, and like, I'm thinking about using the snow on the
Mhm.
right side. You know, like I wanna, like a crazy snowmobile might be like pretty fun to do. We'll see. I'll come up with something. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Are we
that'll
able to
be-
use like the land and the water? Like I
Oh
feel
yeah,
like, I
that's
don't know,
the
with
yeah.
the water, like
Yeah.
Would it be
Absolutely,
tricky to
that's the
get water?
purpose. You can go
Okay.
under the ice, you know. You can go under
Nice.
the ice. You can go in between you can do a slalom in between the trees if you want.
Like Spider-Man on the candy canes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
oh my god, that would be
Spider-Man on the
amazing.
candy cane.
Oh, a Spider-Man between candy canes? That would be crazy. Yeah.
Spider
I don't think
Santa.
you could manage to do a 4-second loop with that though.
Oh, that's true.
Oh yeah.
You'd just be
But
very
it's-
inaccurate.
And loop. It works. Yeah. Cool. All right. Then I guess we'll see you guys next week. But
Awesome.
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you.
get going
everybody.
on this challenge. Download it. Read the rules in the community challenge Santa's Delivery Squad channel, and then yeah, looking forward to see your guys' stuff.
Mhm.
Haha, nice.
Read those
Absolutely.
rules. Don't be like me last event and be like, "Oops, I animated on 3 seconds."
Yes, Tyler, you're on the naughty list.
She's reading
Yeah,
No.
I'm on
Oh yeah,
thin ice.
she's reading the old lady is reading it.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, that's at the end of the tunnel. Just the rules.
You know what you should do, Ruxandra, just for now? Just make the whole group of your character grabbable. So transform it and just fly with your hand.
Oh my
There you
goodness.
go.
Yeah. Let her bank a little bit sideways.
Perfect.
Oh no,
Yeah, there you go.
she got
That's so
distracted.
cool.
She looks good.
Awesome.
Cool.
I love this. You know that you can just quickly do this stuff. It's just insane.
Yeah.
I'm probably just gonna record it like this and make her. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ruxandra, that's what we're gonna do with everyone's. I think at the end, you know, that
Mhm.
we do a choreography of the submissions. Then it looks really cool because I think without one person doing it at the end, it's gonna be difficult to align. So I think
Yeah.
if everybody just submits their loop and then we do the stuff at the end, I think that would be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. All right,
All right.
gonna-
Thank you.
get out of here,
Thanks
but
a lot,
yeah,
everybody.
see you guys.
Thank you so much for coming.
See you
See you.
later.
Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks, Ruxandra.
Thanks for doing it.
Bye.
Bye.
Good weekend, everybody.
Yeah.